Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, let's figure out what happened today because today was quite a wild ride. Let's just say that. Today was probably one of the wildest, trappiest, just weirdest, craziest price action I've seen on Tesla in months, honestly. Like the last time I remember seeing this kind of price action was back when Elon was selling, or maybe probably when Elon was selling. Like this was just truly something else of a day. But regardless, let's go over it. Let's figure out what has happened and what we can expect moving forward. So as usual, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. A lot of posts today, a lot of discussion today as well through the with the members. So I mean, rightfully so. Today was a wild day. I'm not gonna lie. I did turn slightly bearish at the moment. Like back when we were, doing all of these things here. I'm like, we can potentially go up to down to the gap fill. We didn't get quite to the gap fill, but we went to about 228, which is just a couple of dollars away. But I'm not gonna lie. Things were looking grim. Like this is what it looked like 4 hours ago, right? And this is what it looks like now. Complete flip of a day. So obviously with Jerome Powell, we discussed Jerome Powell could be a massive catalyst, and he absolutely was, right? No interest rate hike. Even hinted at cuts early next year. And the market just absolutely skyrocketed with Tesla, of course, as well, which of course is very bullish news for Tesla if cuts finally start happening, which is, phenomenal to see. Now, so anyway, a lot of posts today, a lot of, very confusing things that were pretty much playing out. But anyway, the link is below $3 a month if you're interested. But let's dive into it. Tesla finally closed the day just now. Looking like we're closing at just shy of $239, which is going to be up, believe it or not, about 0.8% on the day after we were down. What was it, like almost 4%, I think, at the bottom, like all the way down here. Yeah, about 3.7, nearly 4% on the day we were down, and we ended up closing almost up 1%. Phenomenal turnaround, absolutely unbelievable. And there's a few important caveats. Now, I'm optimistically cautious. That's kind of my current point of view. But it's hard not to look at this right now after today's price action, after the close, and think, man, the bulls really, truly, I don't know, it just came in when it counted. It's unbelievable, truly unbelievable price action. So let's just quickly recap or reiterate what even happened, right? Obviously, it started off with a bearish day, danced around the 50-day moving average. We actually came back up to the 21 EMA, got rejected, and then we moved back down, broke below the 50-day moving average, broke below the green line, and even broke below $230, going as low as about $228. Not too far away from the 200-day moving average, and of course the gap fill, which is also pretty much just a couple dollars below that as well. So we got pretty close to that general overall level. But again, like I talked about for many times, 230, like about 230, give or take a couple dollars, is extremely important to me not to break down below. But as I always say, close and hold. We clearly didn't close, and we clearly obviously didn't hold, right? Because we didn't close below. So important to understand that. Very, very important. And after Jerome Powell, the market just completely skyrocketed. And what happened, similar to yesterday, was this was a false breakdown number 2, right? We went below the 21 EMA. We went below, like this time, the 50-day moving average. We went below the bull flag, bottom of the bull flag, the green line, went even below 230, and it was all a false breakdown again, similar to yesterday, just on a much more, I guess, elevated scale, right? Kind of like what this candle did back here. Like this is the perfect example of what today is, right? This candle right here, bearish day, moved down substantially, right? This is also a pretty bearish looking day, right? This day went down from the close to the bottom of that, about 3.3%, right? So, very similar idea, right? Also broke down below very important levels, but also ended up staying above the 21 EMA and actually also recovering to the green as well with a massive reversal. Exact same thing happened. And look what happened the 2 days after that. A beautiful follow through, a little bit of consolidation, and a further follow through. And man, I'd be lying if I said that that seems like a possibility for Tesla here. So, just take that into consideration, right? Whenever you have these constant false breakdowns, at least in my eyes, again, this is just my opinion, right? I mean, I'm sure others share this opinion as well, but false breakdowns and false breakouts are very bullish and bearish respectively. So for instance, when we had a false breakout over here and we ended up, going well above it, but then obviously massive reversal and then closed well below the potential breakout level. Look what happened the day after. We ended up falling from that day's close to, let's say, kind of like the bottom-ish, if you will, right? The following couple of days, we went from that close to the lowest point of the day, about 4.5%, right? Same thing happened here, just the opposite, also a false breakdown. Ended up recapturing it, massive reversal, and we had a beautiful rally. Also, pretty nice looking reversal, about 4.5%. And the same concept applies here. We had a massive, fall down, right? We had another massive false, in this case, breakdown, but just breakout in general, really, just in the bearish side. and we recaptured it. So that's why it's important to understand whenever you have these false breakouts, false breakdowns, whatever, especially several times in a row like this, so like yesterday and today, that's really bad for the bears, like at least in theory. Obviously, this is all in theory. For all we know, Elon will tweet something tonight and we'll just crash tomorrow anyways and forget everything I said. Obviously, that's always a possibility. That's the risk that comes with it, right? Or else technical analysis would be the most easiest thing in the entire world if all you have to do is look at this, and it's just that simple, right? There's obviously a lot of risk and unknown factors that come into it. It's just about a statistical probability, right? It's about like, okay, well, what are the chances that this does play out the way I think it will? That's kind of what we're trying to figure out. And again, looking at historical performances on false breakdowns and outs, right, we see the trend that follows after that on a bearish one and on a bullish one. So take that into consideration. Obviously, we're also closing above the 50-day moving average. We're still closing above the 21 EMA, which is great to see. The weekly is still holding on. Massive red day. This right here, this whole wick was literally just today's price action, believe it or not, but still holding on phenomenally, right? Still holding above the 21 EMA and the 100-day moving average, which are obviously the ones, these two lines right here just below that. So man, it's like, I don't know. It's a really confusing day. Tesla's behaving super weirdly. I mean, we have QQQ essentially at all-time highs. So Tesla definitely severely lagging the market behind. Like it's literally just it's like a couple of dollars away, or like it's like $5 away from all-time highs roughly. So meanwhile, Tesla's still down 40%. But, the Tesla's holding back, right? And it's, again, all this momentum is still building. If we bring out the squeeze indicator, you can see the squeeze indicator is still building, but the green or yellow goldish bars are still slowly getting lower and lower and lower. Maybe it's a sign of things to come, that it's going to be a squeeze to the upside. It is potential, right? There's still, more work to be done for the bulls. But again, the way I look at this is pretty simple. The bears had an opportunity, once again, to really, really take this and just make this super bearish. Like if we close below the 21 EMA, below the 50-day moving average even, right? Below any of those at least, this would have been a completely different video, right? I would have been talking about how Tesla's probably coming back down to at least the 224-ish level, if not maybe even down to about 210, maybe even 205. But because of this reversal, it just simply doesn't look like that. Like you don't get these reversals that just look like this and just consider them to be bearish. Like it's just not the thing, right? Obviously, there's still some signs to be cautious. Like I said, I am still optimistically cautious. I'm not just all in here, 100% shares, like 100% calls. No, I still have cash. I'm still about 50% cash, right? Give or take. And the reason for that is simple. So those are all the bullish sides. And again, if we do rally, if we do break above this 240 to 242 level, which I think we will, and above the 100-day moving average, which is sitting at about just over 242, the level to break out of this bull flag has been decreasing. It is technically a descending channel. That's what these bull flags are. It's just a descending channel. It's kind of like the cool off, the correction period as you build up momentum for the next bull run, essentially. And that's kind of what we're seemingly prepping for here, right? We're not far away from breaking out, right? It's, again, coinciding roughly with the top of this green line, which is the smaller bull flag we're in. It's like a bull flag within a bull flag. Imagine if both of them execute. And that's pretty much, again, also sitting around 246-ish dollars per share. So important to understand. Now, the bearish aspects of this is the fact that we're still getting rejected by 240 to 242. We came up to it after this massive bullish rally, and we did get a bit of a smackdown, right? Not a major one, but a bit of a smackdown. So take that into consideration. We do have, of course, the MACD ever so slightly flipping bearish here. Hopefully you can see I'm not blocking it. I'm not. So we're ever so slightly flipping bearish. You can see a very slight little red bar, but again, not enough to really convince me, but it looked a lot worse this morning. I'll just say that right now, right? Maybe I even have a picture of it. Let me go ahead and scroll all the way down to where, yeah, so right here, you can see a much more obvious red bar down here. So, take that into consideration too, right? There are still things to be worried about. There are still concerns, right? Since we're in a rising channel, technically this blue line right here, right? Tomorrow, we're pretty much going to be opening right at the bottom of it. So any slip up can still be a little bit concerning, right? So there's still work to be done. But if we see follow through on this tomorrow, which I'm hoping we will, I think this will look phenomenal. But again, I want to make it very clear, I am still optimistically cautious. There's still definitely room for bulls to, mess up, if you will, here. I really want to see what makes me more convinced is obviously just breaking out of this bull flag entirely, which again is around 245, 246-ish, right, give or take. But I really want to see us to go back above 240 to 242 and ideally 243, which is where which will make us put us above the 100-day moving average, right? That's where I'll feel a little more comfortable, right? There'll be a lot more room to just kind of even if we were to go down, it's not that bad, right? But right now, we're still technically on thin ice. But with such a reversal, again, it's hard to look at this and not be like, man, that is truly quite a reversal, right? That is ridiculous. Now, another thing you can look at for the bulls here is if you zoom in, little bit of a hammer candle. I don't know, so-so, right? Hammer candles, of course, you want to see this candle with a lot smaller than this, like maybe even half the size of this in all honesty, but it is, the wick at the bottom is longer than the candle. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. It's not like the worst looking hammer candle, but it's not the best looking hammer candle in the entire world, because again, just the body of the candle itself, like this thick part is, it's a little too big, right? It is a little too big, but you know, it's definitely looking more bullish than bearish of a candle. I'll tell you that right now. That's for sure. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So this, yeah, it was a wild day, to say the least. It was an absolutely wild day. Options flow was all over the place. There was insane flow today. Still definitely looking bearish here to close the day, but you know, there was a lot of flow happening throughout the day. A lot of like million dollar prints that were happening, both calls and puts. But you know, at the moment, you can see it's definitely looking a little bit more bearish than bullish here. Short term, you can see massive red ones up here, but there's been many times where I've seen these kind of situations and it just plays out the opposite regardless. So I wouldn't take it, you know, too seriously, but just something to consider. Everyone takes that at a different level or pace or whatever, right? So take that, I guess, into account for what it's worth. But that's kind of the main thing I'm looking at. Now, the final thing to look at is going to be the 65-minute chart. You can see right here, again, you know, we were very close to playing out this head and shoulders pattern, right? We never actually truly closed below 230, or at least we were like just barely below. Like it was not convincing enough, let's just say that, right? But the thing to look at here is potentially we were in this little downtrend right here, this green line here, followed by like this right here. So you know, we were in this little channel right here, just again a rough demonstration of it, just give or take, right? And then we broke out of this channel, and it's looking not too shabby. So take that into consideration too, right? Maybe we broke out and now it's looking like we just want to continue running. So that's also a possibility. And on the 65-minute chart, the MACD just flipped bullish as well. So there's a lot of mixed signals. It's a very confusing time. This is probably one of the most confusing days I've seen in Tesla in a long time, in all honesty. And this whole situation that we find ourselves in is also pretty perplexing. It's a difficult situation. It is confusing. It is what it is. But I definitely think that after today's price action, the bulls are really making a stand for it. I truly believe that. And if we see some fall through tomorrow, I really want to see fall through tomorrow above 240, 242, roughly. If we do see that, I'm going to be even further convinced that the bulls have retaken control. But again, like I said, I am still optimistically cautious. But all in all, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Tomorrow will be yet another important day, but today was truly an important day. Truly took what could have been a really horrendous situation for the bulls and a phenomenal situation for bears. Truly could have turned this whole stock bearish. Would have been a pretty bearish turn too. Could have brought us back down to low 200s, but the bulls turned it around. I guess maybe J-Powell turned it around. I don't know, however you want to call it or whoever you want to give credit to. But regardless, follow through tomorrow is the ideal play. And yeah, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Pretty wild day, pretty bad day for trading for me, I'll be honest. I will say that's not the best trading day for me. Some emotions definitely made me do some pretty poor trades, but it is what it is. But nonetheless, we'll see what tomorrow brings, and hoping for follow through for the bulls tomorrow as well. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.